Welcome back to the Turnbuckle Tavern and another edition of our Visits the Tavern, live from the No Cell Studios. I'm the ace of the tavern, Stephen Acefield, and I am joined today by an up-and-coming talented wrestler, the Big Boofa, Dezmond Cole. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's happening, dude, man? I'm just happy to be alive, man. Just happy to be doing this shit.
Dude, I'm so glad to have you on here. I've seen you in the ring quite often this year, and you've been killing it. We're going to get into all that's been going on in 2022 for you, but you've been all over the place. Limitless, Creative Pro, Victory Pro Wrestling, Chaotic, Remarkable Wrestling. Forgive me if I'm missing any of them. How would you describe 2022 as a whole so far?
Man, honestly, I feel like I've said this story a lot, but it's just I like to drill it in. Is like so last year I took a really my bad. I took a really bad ACL injury, and it was off the most basic thing ever. It happened, I think, last September, and it put me out for a little bit. I returned in February, but throughout that time, I was sitting on my couch and I was like, no one's gonna care. Like, no one's really gonna pay attention. And honestly, I sat there for a while, and I realized I was kind of having a little bit of a buzz, a little bit. Like people were starting to watch me, and then it just got cut right down. And I don't know, man. This is it's been like a dream almost this year. Like I feel like it's just crazy, all these promotions that I've just debuted at or made a really big impact at, in this amount of time is just been crazy. I would have never ever predicted this for some reason, last year. So I don't know. I'm not gonna complain, but this has definitely been a roller coaster of a year for me, but my best year in my career yet.
So you alluded to it, September 2021, partially torn ACL, fully torn meniscus off of what you called a routine move. And you kind of alluded to dealing with the adversity. And what did that teach you? Because a lot of times you look from wrestlers all over the place they really work on the character, the outside the ring stuff a little bit closer when they can't do the physical stuff.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm still trying to work on, who I am and what I'm trying to get across and stuff like that. But even when I had no choice, I couldn't even get up and move around really. So yeah, I did sit there and I was thinking of ideas or what would draw people into me. And I think in this generation, I mean, not even just this generation, people in this business attract to weird. They attract to weird stuff. And me, I have, flashy get colors, and I have catchphrases that you don't understand, but you want to say it anyway. So
Right.
I feel like when when you do stuff like that, it makes you stand out a lot. So that's all I was thinking about. I was like, all right, well, I can't not just give up. I have to think about things I'm going to do. So when I get back to square one again, I kind of get rebirthed a little bit.
So you talked about the Big Boofa moniker and where that came from. Give us the story behind the name, explain the origins, and what was the influence that ultimately gave you, I guess, the opportunity to call yourself that?
All right, well, it's weird. So this happened back in quarantine. So I was just hanging around with my friends, and I think I said something, or I hit my friend, and I was like, "Boof, boof," and I was messing around with him, and he was like, "That sounds so weird." So then I was like, "Yo, imagine." I was just kidding. I was like, "Imagine if I just called myself that, how weird that is." And then my other friend was like maybe you should, maybe that, whatever, maybe you should do that. So then I was thinking about it when I first I was very scared because before quarantine I really didn't have a character, and I was generic guy number four and just didn't know what to do. So I was very skeptical. And then I remember I was on the road, and I was with Tristen Thai. Are you familiar with him?
I am, yes.
So I was on the road with him and a bunch of other dudes on the way to a show. Finally, COVID's starting to calm down a little bit where they're starting to run shows. And he said, "Why don't you do me a favor? Tonight when you wrestle, just try something new, be yourself. you're a competitive breakdancer for 10 years, a competitive hip hop dancer. Go try something new. So I went up to the announcer and I said, call me this. And then from there, I have just built like myself into a whole new character.
That's awesome. And dude, you just led right into the next question. There seems to be a lot of breakdancing tied into what I would label creative offense. And I think that's really cool. I think JR back in the 90s just called educated feet. I see that a lot with you. Is dancing and music something you're passionate about still? You said you were doing competitive dancing back in the day, but are you still passionate about that something right now?
You know, so this is crazy. So I was always the biggest fan of Michael Jackson. That was my Jesus, like growing up. So I wanted to my goal was I wanted to be a backup dancer so I could dance for him. Like I could dance like in the background on stage. And then he passed away and it killed it a little bit for me, the dream. And I continued to do it. And I continued to dance, but like the feelings just like kind of weren't there anymore. So now I'll dance, and obviously I dance, for my entrance and stuff like that. But even around the house, like I'll dance and sing and whatever. But it's a good it's a good escape route, as crazy as it sounds. Like it just I feel like you can just put your mind away when you're in that zone. So it's
very similar to wrestling in that regard, and similar to the breakdance, and there's some influence tied into your gear. No Gimmicks gear made you this amazing in-ring attire that you posted on Twitter, and you've been wearing it on the indies. What was the process like to get these done? I'm going to show the picture right now. And how did you convey that vision? Like, this is really, really cool gear, hand painted. It looks like these are awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to No Gimmick Gear. Shout out to Bitter Chain on Instagram. That guy, I gave him an idea, and also trying to remember his name because he drew the logo of my face. Phantom. His name's Phantom. He's also another guy I'll shout out because he drew my face logo. But I sent all this over to Bitter, and then he made this all up. Like he made this graphic, and then he sent it back to me, and then like we were talking back and forth, and I was like, man, I love this. And then I sent it over to No Gimmick, and she just finalized it by putting paint splatter on it and just turning it into real life. So yeah, no, I love those new overalls a lot.
They're so sick, and I saw you wear them the last time at VPW, so they caught my eye. And I think the overalls are a different thing. Like you said, I wouldn't call it weird, but if you say weird catches people's eye, it's an attention grabber.
It's a good weird, it's unique.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. We talked about your moveset, educated feet, and all the dancing that influences your moveset. Do you have a specific wrestler in mind when you're coming up with some moves you're going to break out into the ring, and someone you're pulling tape from on a daily or weekly basis?
So yeah, right. So this is like where it's crazy. So my favorite wrestlers are nothing like what you see of me, though. Like my favorite wrestler of all time is Randy Orton. That is my favorite wrestler. And my inspirations like Bryan Danielson. So those are guys that you would never guess. But like, I don't really pull from much people more. So when I tape study and stuff, I watch like mannerisms and like Eddie Guerrero, The Rock, like especially The Rock, and D'Lo Brown. So these are guys that like I'm just watching and how they moved around the ring. But if I'm thinking about what I'm pulling stuff from, like I pull stuff from Eddie Gordo from Tekken, and I do yeah. So that's where if I want to do something like that's really like unique, I go to like a source outside of wrestling, or I'll look at what somebody's doing and I'm like, all right, I need to do this completely like different, even if it's basic.
That's awesome. And the Tekken thing threw me for a loop, but I could see it. I mean, these are fighting games, even go through Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, some of those things you can pull from. And, wrestling is best when it's exaggerated. There's a lot to do with exaggerated movement and getting people to feel what you're doing in the ring and understand the story you're trying to convey. So I love that, man. So we're talking about Remarkable Wrestling off air a little bit. They've been on fire as of late, and you'll be getting a championship shot from Gabriel Sky Friday 10/21 at Halloween Haunted Havoc. Speak to the current champ Gabriel Sky and what everybody should be expecting from this match.
So all right, so I About this match, I have wrestled, and for people who are fuzzy, I wrestled this man twice before this. I've came up short. Uh, Earlier this year, I wrestled him. It was my second match back from injury. I came up short. 2 years ago we wrestled. I lost again. This is like my brother. I train with him. I go through these roller coaster of emotions with him. I go through everything. I go to him for like everything. So to be here in this main event at these stakes, it's like I feel bad, and the only reason I feel bad is because at the end of the day, like I know what I want. I want to be the ace of Remarkable Wrestling. I want to be the guy, and to do that, I need to upset the family of Gabe. I need to upset Gabe himself, and I don't want to do that because Gabe is that's my dude. But when it gets down to it, I have to kind of do this for myself. This is like I believe I'm ready to get to that next level. And I mean, look, I'm not discrediting Gabe at all. He is had an amazing year. Like he's defended that title against Jordan Oliver, ACH, Davey Richards, Akira. Like it just and he's taken the title like out of state and defended it.
Right.
So this is a guy that like I have the blueprint on. I'm with him all the time, but he also, he knows me. So who knows?
Looking forward to it. Again, it's a week from tonight, 10/21, Deer Park. Make sure you guys go out and get your tickets. NYWC Sportatorium. Make sure you guys get them in advance. Go to the website, Remarkable Wrestling, and buy your tickets in advance because who knows if there'll be any available at the door. So make sure you guys get there and make sure you see this match. It's going to be awesome. We've been talking about championship matches, and there's a lot of championship matches galore going on for you. You'll be wrestling Bryce Donovan for his Creator Pro Championship on Cap TV on Monday. This is some awesome exposure for you, and I'm sure it's an amazing match. What are your thoughts on Bryce Donovan, and what makes him unique to wrestling and what he's bringing to the table?
Bryce is my dude. He's another one who's like really helped me out when I was injured and stuff. Like, and he was there for me. Bryce is, I don't know. There's a lot of big men in this business, and Bryce comes off super unique to me because like it's just if you pay attention to Bryce, it's like it's how he carries himself, and like he even this is crazy because I saw like a mark for him, but I was like I think I was watching his match against Acl at Creator Pro, the show I was like recently on. And I was like watching his entrance and I was like, yo, he doesn't look nervous or anything. And like, he just has like the swagger of like he deserves to be the champion. And he is a tough person, man, to come back from like that lung injury, like within 3 months, 2 months, like it's crazy. But that's another guy, man, I consider a brother in this business. Cause like, he's another one who's just consistently been there and helped me out. So yeah, mad respect to Bryce.
Make sure you guys check that out on Cap TV on Monday. It's a match you don't want to miss. We've been talking about championship opportunities. Let's talk about the championship you currently hold, the Victory Pro Wrestling New York State Championship. You took it from Eric James back in March, 200 plus days at this point. What does that championship mean to you, and what has it done for you to I guess, level up? Not only Victory Pro Wrestling, but other indies at large.
It kind of like, so, when you're never won a title before, like, you only know the chase and stuff. So being that stapled point like of VPW now and being the workhorse champion is like it's a lot of pressure, but it's something I've been asking for and something that I deserved. So it's a lot, but I respect the title. I respect the position I'm in, and it's gonna take a lot to take it away from me. You know what I mean? Like, and this is the belt. BBW, is another place that I was watching when I was a young kid. So to hold this belt, like it's gonna take a lot to lose it.
So you mentioned VPW tomorrow night, 2022 Gold Rush Rumble, 20 competitors, one winner. This is another thing you guys should be checking out tomorrow. If you're free, bell time's at 7:30. You can get tickets at the door, $25. So the Gold Rush Rumble is tomorrow. This seems to be like a flagship event for VPW at this point. Been around since about 2010. What should fans expect specifically from the Big BOOFA tomorrow night?
Hey, man, I'm going to go in and do the exact same thing I do. every single month. I'm gonna send them home happy, go home happy, and retain that New York State championship. And I think I'm going against this kid named KJ Mack. I haven't really heard a lot of him, but hey, it's a hell of an opportunity. And I remember when I was in that position years ago, it's sink or swim tomorrow. So we'll see.
I can't wait to see it. And you guys can check me out there. I'll be at the table doing some media, giving out some stickers. So come and say hi and go check out, most importantly, the independent wrestlers of VPW putting on a show tomorrow. It's going to be awesome in Bayshore, new location, guys. So make sure you guys understand it's not where it usually is. It's in Bayshore for the first time, right? It's the first time you guys went out to Bayshore?
Yeah, this is the first time. I think we're going to get real comfortable with this area, I think, after this. So
yeah, it's a cool area over there. So I'm expecting you guys to be over there a little bit more often, but we'll talk about it as it comes closer. We mentioned Remarkable Wrestling, and Kono Capuccia, alongside teaching from Jack Gallo, has helped you mold your craft as a pro wrestler. Talk about what makes them so effective as educators and their influence on your career thus far.
Well, man, Jack, funny story about him. So years ago when I initially joined FTW, he scared me out the building, how intense he was. And then I came back and because I was really young. So he was tough though. He was very personable and helps you out with whatever you need help with. But that conditioning and stuff like that, he was on your ass with that stuff. And same thing with Kono. Kono is somebody, who I give a lot of the credit to because I was very lost and he just really helped me believe in myself. And I still deal with confidence issues and it sucks, but he's somebody who is oh, you're good. Stop getting in your head and stuff like that. And always telling me to think outside the box and ways to improve and stuff like that. And he's somebody that is one of the most important people in my life because he's can help me get to this point where I am. So yeah, it's all that. That's all it is, man.
It's awesome. And amazing guy, Remarkable Wrestling. Make sure you guys check them out. I can't emphasize that enough. Next week, next Friday, check out Halloween Haunted Havoc. It's going to be a great show. But let's go back in time a little bit. You talked about walking through the doors as a young kid to be training for wrestling. What initially started this journey for you? What brought you into training to be a wrestler? Were you a lifelong fan, or was there another reason you got into training? And I guess, when did pro wrestling first catch your eye?
So yeah, so it all started when I was I think I was about 5 years old when I just understood it because I remember I remember I was really young when I vividly heard my uncles they were listening to I think Mankind get thrown off the cage or something like that, but I wasn't there for that.
Right.
I didn't know. So I think fast forward a little bit, I was flipping through channels in my room, and next thing you know, I stumbled across John Cena screaming. He was doing a promo backstage. And he was screaming into the camera, and I was damn. I was like, what is this? And then I continued to watch, and then I was hooked. So then I watched every single week, and I think this started in 2004, 2005, maybe. And ever since that, I just was such a huge fan of and I loved it so much. I always wanted to do it, but I never thought it was something you could do. So I never pursued it. I would just dream about doing it. Instead, I wanted to be a dancer and stuff like that. So when that dream ended for me, I was hanging out with my buddy, and his older brother was we were doing some weird skit for the show we were doing, and I was oh, we need a wrestling ring, we need to film in this wrestling ring. And my buddy's older brother was hey, we got my friend has a wrestling ring. So then I went to this garage and I stepped in the ring, and I was just doing things, and I winded up signing up for the real school that would attend, which was FTW. And from there, I just fell in love with it. It was great.
Did you feel like one hand washed the other with the dancing? You felt like the athleticism it took to be competitively dancing, just immediately you took to the wrestling stuff?
Yeah, I played sports and everything, so that and like my grandmother forcing me into ballet and breakdancing and hip hop has literally made like my footwork, and it still helps me today. It's like when you learn stuff like that first, you almost like it's almost embedded in your brain that no matter what, footwork's important no matter anything you do.
I think across all different athletics. I mean, think about baseball, basketball, football. Footwork is essential. If you don't have that right, they talk about quarterbacks all the time. Their footwork's off. They can't do anything. So it is back to basics, and you have that baseline. That is, I mean, you're ahead of the curve a little bit.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite matches that I've seen this year, there's been a few, but this was your match with Tristen Thai, who you alluded to before, back at Bish at the Beach, Beyond Wrestling in September. Tristen Thai is a special talent. You mentioned him before. Do you have any insight into why this match was so special and what clicked that day? I mean, I know it was on a beach. It was a cool setting, but speak to that match a little bit.
Were you there?
I was not there. I did actually see highlights. Someone posted a whole bunch of highlights there.
Oh, damn. I'm gonna be like, damn, did I miss you at the show?
Yeah, this was in Westerly, Rhode Island, right? This was a sick match.
Yeah. This match is special to me because he's another one, man. Despite the differences we have, like in Remarkable and stuff like that, he's another one that if it wasn't for him, I don't think the Big Boofa character would really be a thing. And it's only because, like I said, I was riding with him when he told me to just be myself. And even during COVID, and he was dealing with a really bad injury himself. And all we would do is just call each other every night and like talk about wrestling and talk about new things to do to make us stand out from everyone else. And that's someone that like also a brother to me. And like, I don't know. Yeah, he's just a very special individual and also like an extremely talented person as well. And he deserves the world.
So shout out to Patty's Beach in Rhode Island that hosted the unique event. It looked amazing. I'm going to show a highlight quick. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on your end if you're on your phone, but for those listening on audio, this is just a couple highlights of Tristen and Desmond going at it. So there was a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, in the water, I saw matches went in the water. You guys use very WCW like when things happen on a beach for some reason for me. I loved it. It was sick.
Literally, that's what I thought. Honestly, when I showed up to the venue, I was like, damn, like it literally reminded me of WCW. Like the way like everything just you'll see it when it's on camera, it looked like awesome. Like there was a ring and then literally Harcam was pointing like right at the waves crashing onto the beach.
That's cool.
And it was sick.
Yeah, GCW just did that on the boardwalk last weekend where it was the first time they've done it with on the water. So the hard cam had all the Atlantic Ocean behind you. And I don't know, it was a unique thing. And that's what makes some venues are awesome like that. When you can pull an indie show and do the fun things around it. I don't know, I think it's awesome.
I always wanted to do a show like in a warehouse and like get Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Of course, yeah, like level 1, right? In the warehouse.
Yeah. So I wanted to run a show there and get like Beyond style of people around the ring and like skateboarding in the back and like that kind of vibe in an abandoned warehouse.
That would be fantastic because like things happen in the background. That again, similar to the beach situation. People, I'm sure there were patrons there just going to the beach that day, and they happened to be a wrestling show happening right next to them, right?
There was actually I forgot their names, but they were like the head photographers and videographers. So they wanted us like to shoot like some cool B-roll and take some good photos. And we had to go down to the beach for that. And you should have seen like there was like this old couple that were just I think they were on a date or something, and they were like just looking like at us like we were freaks. Like because you got this like tall ass dude like 6'7" walking next to me, and I'm 5'9", and like I'm in overalls, velvet shirt, and like you're just looking at us like, what are they doing?
That's funny, man, because wrestling is so strange. So let's use the word weird to people that aren't in the circle that know, because wrestling is just Hulk Hogan and The Rock to some people, but there's this whole subculture of wrestling that's truly it's a livelihood for so many people.
Yeah,
but it's funny when like you expose people by force. They're like they're involved. You have a volleyball game going on next to you, the wrestling ring, and worlds colliding. All right, so you teamed with Percy Ryan for a while, and you guys have wrestled in the past. He's also involved in Remarkable Wrestling, VPW. He'll be tomorrow at VPW at the Gold Rush Rumble. Tell us about your relationship with him in and out of the ring, and is it similar to a lot of different guys as well?
I'm gonna have to break kayfabe, bro. Sorry,
Do
shoot
it,
me.
do it.
That's actually like my best friend. Like that is like I went to high school, middle school with him. He's like my number one. So yeah, no, it's crazy because we have differences in the ring, and every time we're in the ring we clash a lot. Uh, but yeah, I have done so much with him. I've teamed up with him. I've faced him. I've been in multi-man matches with him. Uh, it's crazy because like I finally like seeing stuff for him kick off, and like we're just all our whole group because we have a tight knit group. You know, it's me, Gabe, Tristen, Kono, Percy, Dom, and yeah, and my dude Sam and Liam, and we're all just a really close, tight knit group, and to see success happening for each other is like awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah. So with Percy, you guys said you're friends through high school. Did you both decide to train at the same time, or you kind of
He
happened?
came with me. He came with me because I was nervous,
Ah,
and he was gonna sit on the sidelines, and then I was like, "Yo, like, just get in here real quick." And then he wound up liking it too, so he wound up training like the next week, I think. So he signed up like the next week.
yeah. Shout out to Percy Ryan. Go find him on socials as well. Talented young dude that's going to be doing big things, just like Dezmond Cole is. So let's go back to fandom nowadays. There's so much to consume as far as wrestling goes. I mentioned GCW, not to mention the indies you can consume, but the main staple companies, WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Are you following the current products, and do you have a preference as a fan?
I am following the current product. I will say that Triple H has turned the WWE around so quick.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very, very big fan of WWE right now. I also do watch AEW. I haven't really been up to par with New Japan. I haven't watched it in a little bit. I see clips, but
Right.
I don't really get to like watch it when it's on. But I'm watching like all of it. Like I honestly like I'm watching ROH. I'm watching AEW. I'm watching WWE. I'm watching like Impact. Like I'm watching. I watch everything because it's like it's places I want to work. So I look in to see like maybe if someone's not doing something like I'm doing it, I want to make sure I heighten that so I can get more eyes on me.
Yeah, I mean, we see this area produce a lot of stars, and even if it's for a quick appearance on Raw and a quick enhancement talent match, or even on Dark, I know that they had Papa Don was on Dark Elevation taking on Lance Archer and Brian Cage. So you never know when the call is going to be had. I know that Jaden Vallow gets a call. I mean, he feels like he's always in that Northeast area. So yeah, you never know the opportunity to pop up. And watching as a fan, though, there's so much to consume. Do you feel like it changed your perspective? I know you said you really enjoyed it when you were not in the business, but like, do you watch it? Like, does it change the enjoyment level for you?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm going to speak on a lot of wrestlers here. I'm pretty sure that most of us think that we wish we were we could watch it as a fan again because sometimes it's so hard to watch it as a true fan when you're in the business, like the ins and outs and certain things. I kind of wish I was oblivious sometimes. Like I wish I didn't know why this guy did this. I wish I didn't know about the psychology of things, so I can just kind of dive in and not really care what was going on. But there are sometimes I'm watching something and I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it was something I would never question, because not no 7, 8, 9-year-old kid's gonna be like, oh, I don't know why he put a headlock in after a Canadian destroyer.
Right.
So
True. That's a whole other conversation we could have. But a few months ago, you worked with Charles Mason, most notably of House of Glory. Great heel work in the past. I mean, this dude is always killing it. He comes off as a legit killer with the piano wire, and he scares me, dude. Like, I mean, seeing him in House of Glory showing up and he's been choking people out. You wrestled him at Limitless in August. What was that experience like?
nuts. That dude is crazy. uh, that I really did like that match though. that match was super fun, and we meshed really well together. But man, that dude that is real. So yeah, yeah.
I give him some credit. Like low key, the wrestler wears like the full suit, like the Hitman stuff, and I don't know, he wrestles in dress clothes. It seems challenging.
Oh yeah, the building we wrestled in, like in Yarmouth, is hot as fuck. So like literally, like I think I grabbed him at one point and he was like drenched, like through the suit, and I was like, I don't know how you're doing it, man.
I don't know. It doesn't
Crazy.
seem, like I don't like wearing it on a normal day, like going out somewhere like a wedding. I don't know how you're wrestling in it, but I mean, it is an aesthetically pleasing thing when you see him. He looks like a hitman. That's what he does. It looks like it.
Yeah, he definitely plays the part really well. I mean, I won't even say play the part, man. He's
Yeah.
crazy.
Where does the line end of where the reality is? We'll never know. That's the beautiful part about wrestling sometimes.
Yeah.
You talk about all these guys you have relationships with. You specifically spoke about Kono, but I guess speak about who is your mentor, your go-to when something's not going right, or you just need some advice. Who are you texting? Who are you calling?
I'm texting Gabe, texting Tristen, Percy, and Kono. Those are the guys like I go before of them. I'm usually like, yo, like, um. Also, you know Dominic De Niro?
Yeah.
He's another one I hit up all the time. Like, yo, how do I do this better? But I mean, if you were really close to me, you'd know that I'm very annoying. I'm a big critic of my own work, so like I always have something to say. So I always like be talking to them about like why did I do this wrong or what can I do better? But like I'm like that nitpicky.
How quick are you watching the matches back when they're available? If they're on IWTV, are you watching it back when you get home from the event, or are you waiting until the next day to let it settle?
Um, Lately I've been waiting a couple days. Like I wait a little bit because like I get nervous to watch it back, and then when I get over it, I'll watch it because I realize if I watch something the night of, like I have a lot of emotions going on, so like I just stopped doing that because I just want to have a clear head when I view my stuff. So yeah, I usually take a couple days.
Do you feel nervous still when you get into the ring and you're preparing for a match? What's the buildup for, like, say tomorrow? It's night before VPW Gold Rush Rumble. What's the nerves like, and what's your preparation like for tomorrow night?
Well, I feel like if you stop getting nervous, you're kind of like starting to tap out a little bit on how much you really love it. I mean, I feel like I do get nervous. Like it happens like all the time. But like lately, I have been finding myself being a little bit more calm than I used to be. But no, before I go out, I pray to God and I tell him thank you for and please protect me, give me your strength, give me your health. Let me please keep having fun. Protect my knee. I say all of this. Then when I'm done, I pace back and forth, exhale, inhale a bunch of different times, and then it all just pours out, and then I go out. So it's crazy. Like I used to do the most, and people used to just look at me like I was crazy. I used to just pray and then walk back and forth, jump up and down, and scream. But I try to like calm down a little bit.
It's hard, I'm sure, because it's like it's part of your routine at this point. And like you said, I think it was Animal or Hawk from the Legion of Doom that said it. If you stop getting nervous, then you really shouldn't be doing it anymore because you're putting on a show and putting your body on the line. There's so much that goes into it aside from just the story you're trying to tell in the ring. It's so multi-layered that people that don't have a passion for pro wrestling, I don't think they really understand that everything goes into that before you step through the curtain and through those ropes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So this is a kind of an overdone question. I'm sure you've heard it or thought about it. You mentioned two guys that are your favorites growing up, but I'm going to put a twist on it. Give me two dream opponents for Dezmond Cole, one that's currently wrestling and a wrestler you wish you could have wrestled throughout any time in history. So they could be retired or passed away, something like that.
One that's currently wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
like Independence.
No, it could be WWE, AEW, dream opponent, the person you want to lock up with and you feel like you put the best match possible with.
If we're talking about current right now, I think I would honestly I would love to wrestle Seth Rollins. That's someone I would love to wrestle. Currently, it's just like so much. Like I think I don't know because I'm stuck because it's like Seth or like Ricochet. These are like people like I really want to get in there with. I'm not sure if he's wrestling anymore, but if we're talking about, see, this is very hard because there's just so
I
many.
know it is hard.
I'm gonna answer it, but then I'm gonna give you two additional ones.
That's fine. Yeah, of
So,
course.
so RVD,
Ooh, I like that one.
and Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle. Those are two dudes that, man, like I just want
Speaking
to
of
get in there.
footwork, those dudes, the footwork on them, marvelous. But Seth Rollins, just to clarify, the character you'd like to wrestle is the one today, the conductor character that he has people chanting, or would you want the architect? Like what's Seth Rollins? Because there's been a lot of variations that are cool ones.
You know what? I wouldn't mind the one that's going on right now.
He's colorful.
Yeah, very. I would love. Yeah, it's hard, man. There's so many people currently right now, but like he just he just catches my eye. Like it's him and obviously Bryan Danielson because that is my inspiration of getting into
Yeah.
wrestling. So that's another one. So sorry.
No, I love it. Those two guys they're great, and it speaks to the type of wrestler you are. And I could picture those matches happening. And Bryan Danielson, I think you could have a killer match with, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, he's still going when you make it all the way up there.
Oh man, thank you. Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
But they follow the same path as you. They went through the indies, man. They did everything. Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, he grinded. That's what people need to understand. The stars that we enjoy on these big platforms today, a lot of them went through these same channels, the independents.
Yeah.
That's why we got to support the independent wrestling connection, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a wheel. You got to get in those cars. You gotta travel. You got to make sacrifices. It's literally. I'm gonna be honest. This shit sucks half the time, but it does. It's rewarding, and it's gonna test you. You need to have tough skin doing this stuff, and it's stuff. It's something that I'm too in too deep now.
That sounded like advice, but what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone that is just going into wrestling, whether it be they want to be an active competitor or they just want to break into maybe doing something in the business, just breaking in and getting to be known?
Understand what you're getting into, and once you do, put your whole heart into it. Like don't half-ass it because honestly, uh, like I said, the work you put in is the results you will get. And honestly, like it like I said, it is the most rewarding thing at times, but it also is a roller coaster. So you got to be prepared for that stuff. You got to be prepared. Not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone is going to enjoy what you're doing because it's not normal for them to see. But like that's the beauty of it. Like I've been told, like there's some people who don't like me and what I'm doing, but it doesn't matter because I'm still going and I'm just gonna continue to climb the ladder.
And living your truth too. You're staying true to yourself. You don't want to just switch up. And you see that in all aspects of different platforms and different professions. There's going to be haters, and that means you're doing something right. So when you have haters, that means that you're doing something right.
Yeah.
For sure. So how do you want to be remembered in pro wrestling when it's all said and done? When you close the book on it, this is sort of a broad answer, but do you want to be known as someone that giving back as far as training, or do you want to be known for your in-ring presence?
It's kind of like all the above. I do want to be known for my in-ring presence, and I want people to look back and be like, damn, like that guy was like super unique and like and he was good. He was really good. I also do like I don't know. I really did think about will I ever want to train like kids when I get older? And it's something that crosses my mind, but as I get older and I get more experience, maybe I'll be like 100% positive on it. It's just right
Right.
now I'm still learning. I think you never stop learning, but I just want, you know, kids before me, I mean, and people who are even in the same boat as me to just keep learning. And like, I feel like once you're like, nah, like, I don't need to learn anything else, then you're definitely in the wrong place because this is this is something. It's like I said, it's like a wheel. So you will constantly you'll find out some new stuff every day.
I did notice something you posted on social media. You had a sign with one of the fans that brought a sign to, I don't know what indie they brought it to, but it said the Big Boofa, and you said this is what it's all about. Can you talk about some of that positive interaction and inspiration you get from fans that are just getting behind what you're doing?
Oh man, that is like, I'm not gonna lie, like that is like one of the best feelings about this. Like this is like it is the reason I wanted to be a wrestler when I came into it. I wanted to touch the lives of people and impact them. And I Limitless, like that's another one. That's a place that like the fans are so engaged, and respect to them because they saw me in April for the first time, and then like for some reason, like they just latched onto me. And them doing that has literally helped me like get far in Limitless. And like they buy my stuff, they come up to me, they want pictures of me, they want me to sign their tickets, they want me to sign they want to buy 8x10. It is literally like no, it's crazy. The love I get over there is actually nuts. Like making signs for me and stuff like that. And one guy actually told me like, and I didn't know how to react because it was out of nowhere, but he told me that like I saved his life, and I was
Wow.
like, out of nowhere, I've never really heard something like that before. So he told me that, and like it has stuck with me. Like I think about it like almost every day. So
Wow.
it was yeah.
That's special, man. It just shows the connection that people have with pro wrestling on every level. That we talk about this as an escape, right? So people have these hobbies and they want to escape whatever's troubling them in their lives. And I'm sure it's similar to you in the ring, but for the fans outside the ring, we're going to just enjoy ourselves and be entertained for whatever it is, 3-4 hours a night and suspend belief. And that's a beautiful part about the live performance we see. And that is a great story that transcends just the in-ring action.
Yeah, man. It was great.
So I guess bigger picture for wrestling and aspirations for the future. What do you think the wrestling world will look like in 5 years? So do you think there's going to be more relationships? I mean, we see hints with WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling possibly working together. Do you see more of a cross pollination of all these different promotions working together? Do you see more opportunities for guys like yourself that are looking to break into the business further?
I mean, like, I kind of look like this. Like, I've been wrestling for almost about 6 years now, and this like this last 6 years, wrestling has literally changed so much that it's
Yeah,
nothing like when I started training. So like 5 years is like it's so much, it's so much density in the wrestling world, and literally like I don't know, like in the next 5 years, I could see partnerships happening. I could see things being put aside and stuff like that. And I mean, in the last 3 years, opportunities for guys like me in the Indies have been like crazy. So I just think that it's going to get better. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think 5 years from now, I think wrestling is going to be even more insane than what's going on right now. And even right now, like it is just booming all over the
yeah.
place.
You said you started watching 04, 05. That was after the Attitude Era, where they would call the biggest boom of wrestling history with, WCW and WWF going head to head, and the ratings were astronomical, similar to what the NFL is now. Do you ever see wrestling getting back to that point, or is there too many options? Because that's been sort of the school of thought. People think there's so many options now. You can do Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. Back in the day, whatever's on TV, that's your choice. That's how you're watching what your entertainment.
That's a good comparison. Honestly, um, it's hard, man, because a lot of shit goes into it. Like social media is around now, and I feel like yeah, it helps us, but it does take away from certain things in this business. And I don't know. I don't. It's hard. It's really hard to say because right now I feel like wrestling is the biggest it's been since like since the Attitude Era. Like
I agree with that 100%.
because I don't know, but it's also something we have never really seen this before. You have a casual fan who like now for say like can literally watch wrestling every day. That was never a thing. Like back in the day, like you waited for a Thursday, you waited for a Monday or like whatever. Like now, like I think if someone was like, I don't feel like watching so and so, I'll watch this. And even Independence is so in depth, and now you have all these TV promotions now going in depth. You have MLW, Impact, ROH now. We got WWE, AEW. Like, it's just so much wrestling, which is like nuts. There's so much wrestling at this point now that there's like festivals. So like
Yeah.
of different collabs. So like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's an oversaturation at times, but I agree, man. There's a lot to be said about this market that is being built, and it's a different consumption that the fans have. There's and in a lot of ways too. I think about this. I remember I used to have to go to Coliseum, rent Coliseum videos at the local VHS store, like a Blockbuster, or my place was called Mr. Video in Oakdale, New York. But there's
Oh,
like,
I knew it. That's
oh,
crazy.
that's funny. We're probably from like the exact same area, but the craziest part is that now it's almost wrestling's competing against itself, because if I want to watch WrestleMania 6 in lieu of watching SmackDown right now, I could, because you have so much access. I could tap onto my Peacock app and get anything I want. I can watch ECW 1998 at any given time. So the game has certainly changed, and the saturation of the market, it changes how we measure success. Like, I don't think we can measure the success the same way we were measuring in 1999.
When the network came out, dude,
Blew my mind.
yeah, I was like, dude, I was in my glory because I was a DVD kid, and I had all these pay-per-views on DVD and stuff like that. And then like when that shit hit the market, like I was fathomed that I could literally watch like
Yeah.
old episodes of Monday Night Raw and stuff like that, and I was in my glory.
I had the same 3 episodes of Raw from like 1999 on a VHS that I happened to tape. And that would be my go-to. If I wanted to watch wrestling that wasn't one of these pay-per-views, I'd pop it into the VHS and VCR. And man, it changed the game. Like I did during 2020 when everybody was shut down. I watched 1997 in sequence. I watched all the Raws. I watched all the
Yo, that's
pay-per-views.
crazy. I did the
And it was
same thing.
awesome.
I did the same thing, but I did it with the Ruthless Aggression era.
That's awesome. So you went, what, 02 to 04, or did you go just 03?
I went 02 to 08 or 07.
You went straight through. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like all I was doing. So I was like, I was watching like, even like with my boys, we would literally group call each other and just watch like Monday Night Raw, and then we would go to SmackDown, and then we would keep doing it till we got to a pay-per-view. It was crazy.
On this channel, I do a show called Shot Nostalgia with my partner, Mike Belcaster, and we're covering WCW 1996. So we have 3 episodes left. We're at World War III, which is the next episode we're doing, and we're going to ECW 1995. So we don't know where we're going for season 3, but it's been a lot of fun because we dive into the newsletter and find out what was going on behind the scenes and go through Meltzer's, because Meltzer, whether people like him or not, he is a historian. He has all his stuff written out there. And whether he's wrong or right, we can tell now because things have already happened 26 years later. A lot of times he's right, though, which is funny. But either way, he provides the background. It's a fun show, and I think people should do it. Go back and watch old wrestling in sequence. It's hard to get an idea about what things are when you don't watch them in context. Like 1997, you don't appreciate it until you see the full story of being built.
That is true, yeah.
So part of the show is talking about future stars such as yourself. We mentioned a lot of different names that you guys go check them out, whether it be Percy Ryan, Gabriel Sky, Tristen Thai, everyone we mentioned, check them out. Who are 3 wrestlers in your mind right now that you would recommend for people to look at? I guess besides those guys I mentioned, you can mention them again just to put it out here if people want to clip it, to break out in 2023, and why?
You said to mention like 3 other ones?
Yeah, we'll mention them again. Gabriel Sky, Percy Ryan, Tristen Thai, if you want to add some others to that list.
I think people need to like pay more attention to Dominic De Niro. I think he's had a great year this year, but like I feel like he needs to be on TV because he has like the believability and everything like about him. And I don't know, he's just someone that is just so real to me. Like, and I've wrestled him too, and I love that match. And like I don't know, it just hits with me. Him, oof. There's a dude in H2O, and his name is Reed Walker. He's another one. He was actually on a remarkable show. He's another one that like he gives me like Tyler Black vibes from ROH. So him, like his footwork, I think he's another one that's gonna like just skyrocket. And another one that I worked that he's already having a really good year, Ichiban. Like
He's going to be on a remarkable show. Yeah.
He is. He's another one who's just like, feel like we finally got a really, really, really good luchador like on the indies, and like I think he's the bomb because we had a really good match together.
That is awesome. I have some quick hitters before you go, and I added an extra one for you. So since you're from Long Island, fellow Long Islander, best type of bagel, what are you going to when you go there?
Oh, dude, I'm getting a egg everything bagel with scallion cream cheese.
Specific. I love it. Best pizza on the island. If you had to get a slice anywhere, driving's not an issue. What's the best slice?
Best slice or like place?
Best regular slice and best place. I'll specify it like that.
I love. All right, Cafe Michi has like
Port Jeff Station. Is that Cafe Michi?
There's one in there too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have an amazing chicken, bacon, and ranch slice, and it's so good.
Fire. Go to beach.
Oh, Smith Point.
Okay. You're a sand guy, not a rock guy. North Shore has all the rocks and stuff, right? No good. And I added one for you. Favorite Michael Jackson song.
Oh, wow, dude. You gotta be kidding me. Damn, we're gonna be here for another hour. That's crazy.
Bonus points if you could sing it for us, because I mean, if you could dance, I know you could sing, dude.
Dude, this is a hard one.
It's the hardest one all night. That's why I saved it for last.
You have to give me a second.
All right, let him think here. But while he's thinking, I'm going to hype up Gold Rush Rumble while you're thinking, all right? So Gold Rush Rumble tomorrow, 2022 Gold Rush Rumble, 20 competitors, 1 winner, Saturday night. That's tomorrow, October 15th. Make sure you guys don't miss it. Desmond's going to be there. Percy's going to be there. Make sure you guys check it out. You can buy your tickets. Come say hi to me. I'll have a table there. Turnbuckle Tavern, giving out stickers, giving out keychains. Everything's for free. Come say hi. Filming some content, just having a good time enjoying independent wrestling.
All right. I think I got it. I think it's Dirty Diana.
All right.
That has to be like, yeah, I think that's my favorite one.
Hell yeah. All right. So this is going to put the finishing touches on what was a great interview. And I want to thank you again for joining me. This has been a blast, dude. You're always welcome on here. And I can't wait to see you in person tomorrow and future events for Remarkable Wrestling. And I look forward to working with you there.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I love doing these when they go right. Like, obviously, if I have someone who can flow a good conversation, it doesn't even feel like we're talking this long, I love them. But there are some of these that I have did. I am not going to lie to you. I'm a very personable person. And there are some people that I have done podcasts with that are just like, they ask a question, I answer, and they just stare like this, like, and I don't know what to say.
It's definitely a nuanced thing, and people have a tough time sometimes having conversations, but I appreciate you popping on here. But give me a few things people should expect from you for the rest of 2022. We have about 2 months left and going into 2023.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a really banger of a year. Some of the stuff hasn't got announced yet, but some good stuff coming up this year. And I promise I'm ending it with a bang. I'm getting better. I'm getting better and better. I've been training really hard. I've been dieting really hard. So I don't know. I think people should really stay tuned to my social media and wherever, IWTV, I'm on there a lot. And I'm going to be popping up in there a lot more in the last, couple months coming forward.
So guys, remember to follow Desmond on Instagram. I included his social in the bottom. I'll also include it in the description. Great follow on Twitter as well. At the real _DC on Twitter, at the official _Desmond_Cole on Instagram. Great content. Make sure you guys follow him. Stay up to date where he's going to be. He's all over the Northeast. Who knows when he's going to make his West Coast debut? He's going to be all over the place. I just know it. So make sure you guys stay tuned to and locked into what he's doing. Big things ahead for 2023.
Thank you so much, man. That really means a lot to me.
And Desmond, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good luck in the Gold Rush Rumble. Good luck at your world title match. Halloween Haunted Havoc, Remarkable Wrestling on Friday, 10/21. I'll show the card one more time. Hype it up. Make sure you guys get there and check this out. Support independent wrestling, guys. For the Ace of the Tavern, for Dezmond Cole, I'll see you guys next time.